Hello everyone, it's just a dad. So today's video, I'm going to show you what is the best cleaning solution to use with your robot vacuum cleaner. Now, I have to state right from the beginning, I've read all the manufacturers' manuals. None of them will allow you to put these third-party, these typical household cleaners in their robot vacuum cleaner clean water tanks. Most robot vacuum cleaners sell their own solution. Here we've got the EcoVax, Roborock, Eufy, even Shark has their own one, iRobot, MOVA, Dreame. So let me start off by saying, I may recommend and I may say some solutions have worked okay in robots that I have, but you could put this solution in your robot and it could damage it. So, and again, the manufacturer, if they can somehow sense that you had that in there, they may not valid the warranty or whatever. So again, don't take what I'm saying as this will work on your robot and it will not cause it to fail. I'm not a scientist. I do real world testing. This video took me 3 months to make. I have done extensive testing. I've even tested some solutions that I put them in extra strong. I even put some solutions in that I don't like that did cause some problems. So I'm going to go through all of these, but again, I have to stress, I'm not a scientist. I don't know the inner workings of these robot vacuum cleaners. I did do some testing in my basement, in my house, in the studio, and I did find some good results. The results may vary. I did not try every cleaner in every type of robot. The variables here are just too extensive. But I think I can help you stay out of trouble with some of your typical household floor cleaners. Those are a little bit more aggressive. We've got some here that we are not as aggressive and are used in other typical products that are similar to robot vacuum cleaners. So let me first start off by prefacing. I bought all these with my own money. I wasn't paid for this video. This is going to be my honest opinion. But again, please, putting this solution in could cause damage to your robot. I'm not here saying it, but this has been one of my #1 comments is what floor cleaning solution can I use in robots? And before I made this video, I wanted to test them. I wanted to test them a bunch. And the next thing is you may pick a solution that I'm recommending and you may start using it. Well, what I do know is, and I have experienced this with other products, is let's say you put some solution in this clean water tank. Let's say you go on vacation, you turn the robot off, the robot's not going to work for a couple weeks, or maybe you go on vacation for a while and you're not going to use the robot for a couple weeks. There's where the problems can come into play. Typically, I had very few problems when I was putting the solution in the clean water tank and the robot kept working. The minute the robot sits, and when it sits for 4 or 5 months, that's when the solution will start to cause problems inside the robot. So these robots have water pumps. They have real small orifices that they spray out of, and that's where the solution can start to cause problems. Now, I typically use all the manufacturer solutions on all my robot vacuum cleaners reviews. I've never had any problems. They are very weak. Now, that's probably by default because these robots can be very expensive. You know, I've got the MOVA P10 Pro, which I highly recommend. Got the Roborock Saros 10R. Got the MOVA V50 at my house. Now, let me start off by saying this video today is brought to you by my very own website, justadadapproved.com. On that website, you can find robots that I highly recommend. Right now, the MOVA P10 Pro has a gold star. It's a gold star winner. It's been through my extensive testing. I buy these robots with my own money, and I'm not paid for the videos. I can give you my honest opinion with real world experience. I'm just a dad, and I'm giving you real world experience. I didn't take microscopes out and look on the floor and see what the differences were. I don't use black lights. I don't use any kind of fancy instrumentation. But what I do bring to the table is what I feel like is a dad sense, a common sense of, let's try this, let's test it, let's see how it's doing. Is it giving me fits? And I do like when stuff smells good. And we had some that smelled really good. So and again, I have a website, justadadapproved.com, and I will put links in the show description note. And you may see links pop up in the video. I'm an affiliate with Amazon, Walmart, YouTube, and some other companies. So if you click on a link in my description or my website, it'll take you to that website, Amazon, Walmart, or someplace. And if you purchase the product using my link, the product doesn't cost you anymore, but I do get a small commission from that sale. It's a way of helping support my channel. That way I can do these reviews. Again, I spent over 3 months. It wasn't full 3 months, but it was kind of in the back of my head, constantly testing these. And if you look at my previous, I have an Instagram account, a TikTok account, and YouTube Shorts. I did a lot of videos on these because during the process, I was like, oh, today I'm trying the Lysol. Today I'm trying this. Oh, this one's not doing well. Oh, this one's doing great. So I have a lot of little vertical videos. This is the first full frame video. It's going to be a little bit long. I just finished up a big long video on what robot vacuum cleaners work the best, spinning mop pads or roller mop pads. I got a couple videos. They're kind of long, but wow, the results were shocking. But first, let me show you that I do this for a living. I'm going to show you my robot vacuum cleaners. So here are some typical robot vacuum cleaners. We have dirty water tanks and clean water tanks. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the clean water tanks. Now, if you stick around to the end, I am going to show you some tricks for dirty water tanks. Those get really stinky. Now, some robots have solution tanks. Like these two are kind of more expensive ones. These have concentrated solution tanks. And again, Roborock only says to put Roborock solution. There's a big warning. Again, do this at your own risk. MOVA has their own solution. In my testing, I put it in the clean water tank. Now, as you can see, this is what I do for a living. I buy these robots with my own money. I put them through thorough testing and give you my honest opinion. Now you can see some robots, this one doesn't have a solution tank. So, but it has a clean water tank, and that's what we're going to use. Now we have some robots that have, this was really popular during Prime days. We have some robots that have really small, like this has a water tank, but it's built into the dustbin. And this has a very small water quantity, and you're going to be, you can use it in here, but you're going to use a very small amount. Here's the A-list over here. We got the L40, X50, L10S Gen 2, Roborock Q Revo Curve X. Now I tested, this is the world famous Just a Dad Corner Cleaning Studios. This is where I do all my videos of how they clean. I did a lot of the testing here in my basement on concrete. This is LVP, luxury vinyl plank flooring. And some robots have proprietary solution tanks, and so putting it in the clean water tank, once that runs empty, there's really no way of filling it up. I just put it in the clean water tank, and that way it uses it. Okay, so again, let me preference, any of these solutions that I'm recommending could damage your robot vacuum cleaner. Start off with a small amount. The mixing instructions on them are not going to be for a robot vacuum cleaner. They're not going to be for a clean water tank. And I'm going to use a term called a dab. Just bear with me on this. I'm not going to get into precise measurements. I don't think it's that critical, but it is critical not to use a bunch. So here I have a typical, this is a clean water tank. You fill it up with clean water. You don't put hot water in there. I have, but you can just put normal water in there. And what I'll try to put a link to these. This works really well because then you can just do 2 squirts, 3 squirts, and you can kind of judge, oh, 3 squirts worked good. Let's try 4 squirts. So this has, these little squirt bottles just help with kind of measuring. Otherwise, when I don't have it, this is called the dab. I go like this. I go dab, dab. So you're going to hear that term a lot. I've done a lot of measuring these tanks. I've done a lot of reading the instructions on the bottle. They're very, Roborock's in millimeters, and it's very complex. I've measured all of this. I've done the exact measurements. And what I found is it's just 2 dabs for the most part. So that's kind of what I'm going to use. So first, let me start off with some that I do not recommend. This Zep pH, this Zep no rinse, no. They were staining the clean water tanks with their colors, and that's what you want to be careful. That was the first indicator that I wasn't going to use these. I had a clean water tank where it started getting stained. If any of these start staining the inside of that, that tells me that it's kind of too aggressive. I'm going to stay away from it. because it's going to do something on the inside. This one I could tell right away, the quick shine, it's probably a floor mop. I don't, it's a milky, it actually did okay, but I just was like, no, we need to stick with the clears that dissolve clear. In my brain, I'm thinking. Okay, so then I went on to, I got some of the major brands first. Then I learned about this Bona. Then I kind of learned about Shark. Shark makes a lot of solutions. These smell the best. I love them. Got Bissell here. And I forgot about Lysol. Lysol is kind of an older cleaner, and it's got the Lysol smell. It smells really cool. Lysol, I'm probably going to stay away from Lysol. It seemed to be a little bit aggressive, and I couldn't quite get the mixture right. If I put too much in, now here's how you're going to know you're using too much. It's gonna now put the water in first and then the solution. Otherwise, it just foams up, and that foam is going to tell you a lot. These have base stations that clean the mop pads, and if you notice that when the robot exits the base station, if there's a bunch of foam down there, don't use as much or use something different. We don't want that foam from the bubbles, the suds. I think that's too much, or it's probably too aggressive of a cleaner. And I found some that don't suds up quite as much. And again, don't ever forget about the Roborock cleaning solution, Eufy. There's even now, this one here, Waldo Clean, it's on Amazon. It's like, I didn't even know about it, but it was like their number 2 or number 3 bestseller. It's floor cleaner. It says for iRobot. It smells really good. It's got again, the dab, in a full, now I'm talking about full cleaning, clean water tanks. If you've got a smaller one, it's like droplets of this in there, okay? And then we got the Shark. Okay, so then Lysol, a little too aggressive. I did get some staining on the inside of my clean water tank. I'm gonna stay away from these. The pink stuff, now this stuff's highly recommended. I really haven't used it, but it's got a whole big lineup. I didn't find it did much. It kind of smells good when you put it in, but then I didn't really notice that much difference. Mr. Clean, this was probably one I used the most. I didn't have any problems with it. And again, I used, again, yes, I used all of them, but in different robots at different times. So I'm trying to wrap my brain around my thoughts. I probably used Mr. Clean the most. It's got a good smell. It doesn't seem too aggressive. I didn't get any staining. I would tend, if you use too much, I would do two pumps to start off with. Again, it doesn't seem like much. Maybe 3 pumps. Try it out, 4 pumps. Work your way up to 4 or 5 pumps. Again, if you're constantly using your robot, it's going to use that water in about, in probably a week to 2 weeks. It's going to use that, so it's not going to have time to sit there and kind of get all gummy and everything. But the minute you notice anything going on in your clean water tank of staining, or now you may get hard water deposits in your tank. That's normal whether you're using solution or not. But if you start to notice anything going on, this is going to be a great indicator of what's going on with what you're using. Again, I don't put it in the solution tank. I don't really know how much it's mixing, when it's mixing. Some of the early robots, that concentrated solution container, it only used it on cleaning the mop pads. It didn't fill the robot up. Again, now not all robots, most robots have an internal water tank. And there's where we can run into problems. The base stations also have water pumps, and they have tubing, and so we want to be really careful, but probably the robot's going to be the most delicate. Now, robots like Narwhal and I forget some of the others, they don't have internal water tanks. And so you're not going to run into as many problems there. So, and then watch when it's cleaning your floor. Pay attention to this when you're first using it. Is there a bunch of suds around if you put too much, you'll have suds on your floor. It's not going to look good, and it's too much. So we don't want that. Now, getting the aroma, that's where it gets tricky. None of the manufacturers have an aroma. They're very mild. And again, I'm not a scientist. I did have somebody leave a comment about what is recommended to use in robots. I'll try to post it here at the end. He seemed like a scientist and knew all about the chemical makeup. I've got all these robots in here, or all these mixtures in here. I don't know the chemical component of all of these. I don't know any of it. But Here's where I'm coming from. So Shark has robot vacuum cleaners. Shark has the spinning mop pads like a Tinico, and here I have the Tinico solution. So my thought process is, well, those Tinicos and those Shark hydrovacs, they have, and Bissell has Crosswave, they have, they put that in the clean water tank. They have water pumps. They have components that water and mixture are going through, and they don't run into problems. So I'm like, light bulb, let's start using the ones that they're putting in those handheld floor cleaners, you know, the floor wet dry mops. So that's where I started buying the Bissell. I realized the Bona was, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was really popular in those cleaners. And the Shark. Now, Shark just really smells good. And in the Shark robots, they put a ton in. If you ever read, if you look at my Shark robot vacuum cleaner videos, you'll see that on their latest one, they put half water, half this. It's got the robot on there. It's got a picture of it. It smells good. I do think it cleans really good. So, and they've got 3 kinds here. I like the original one. This is the hardwood. This is the citrus cleaner. This is the spring floor. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just have a liking to it. This is the house disinfectant. Yeah, a little citrusy. It's hard to beat. So my favorite one, it's called the Spring Clean. It's kind of, you get the samples with all the products you buy from Shark. This is the big jug. You could probably try a little bit more of that. Again, use caution. It could break your robot. I don't want to break anybody's robot. These are too expensive of pieces of equipment that we don't want to break them. But I have used them with hours upon hours down in the basement here at my home. I'm constantly putting solution in, trying different ones, and I'm not, only problems I started to notice were staining, sudsing too much. That was it. Other than that, they're working. The aromas came from the Sharks and the Bona. The Lysol, I thought I would smell more. I didn't really smell it more from the robot. The Fabuloso, it smells the best when you're kind of putting it in there, but I didn't notice it too much. It's probably the second best aroma after it's on your floor. Now, again, that aroma doesn't last forever, but with the Shark, if you use more, it does seem to last more. I just have a really like it for the Shark. It just, something kind of catches you and you're like, yeah, I really like that. The iRobot did good. There's the Tinico. The Tinico has solution. Again, this stuff is very, I mean, I'm not a scientist, but I have used it. I've reviewed hundreds of Tinicos with this in it. It doesn't have a huge aroma. It seems very mild. We've got this one. This is a lemon scent, the anti-fannies. This one is recommended for the Matic robot. It comes with the Matic robot vacuum cleaner. So that tells me that it's pretty much okay in robots, you know. That one's different than these, but it has some internal, it has water pumps and stuff. So the Bona comes in several different flavors. I didn't really find one cleans better than the other. Now, with this being said, I had some that I don't like, I think could cause problems. I have some that smell great, which is good. Cleaning. That is so subjective because of the robot. I don't know what robot you had. And in my opinion, now, what robot you have is going to determine how well it cleans your floors more than solution. If you have a bad robot, any amount of solution or whatever solution you use is not going to fix your robot. First of all, your robot has to be a good robot. There are bad robots out there that do a terrible job of cleaning. So look at my website, justadadapproved.com. On there, if it's on that website, and again, if you, first time to my channel, first time to a video, verify my results. I have over 6,000 videos on my YouTube channel, so it can be really hard to find the MOVA P10 Pro videos. I have probably 10, 20 videos on this, probably 20 videos on this robot. Search, in Google search, Safari, in YouTube, search, Just a Dad MOVA P10 Pro. And it should bring up all the videos that I have on that robot. That's a better way of finding the video. There is a search bar on my YouTube channel. I know sometimes that can be hard to find, but sometimes it's easier just to Google it. Just a Dad MOVA P10 Pro. It should bring up all the videos. Verify for yourself. If I gave this a gold star, it's my #1 pick right now. It's a sweet spot. It's a $400 to $600 price range, which is the best price range to jump into robots. verify it. Look at the video. I'm going to show you how to unbox it, how to set it up, and then you are going to have to do maintenance on it. So then I show you how to do all the maintenance. If you're happy with what you see, it's not edited, like I'm not editing stuff out that I think's bad. It's a real world video. If I have mistakes, I show them to you. I may pause it once in a while just to kind of keep the length down, because some of these videos are hours long and I can't show everything, but I'm not trying to hide anything from you. So first, I probably should have led with that. First and foremost, you have to have a good robot vacuum cleaner. I have several videos on my best picks, and the best time to buy robot vacuum cleaners are during the big sales. We just got done with Prime Days a week ago or 2 weeks ago. The sales were amazing. This is $600 right now. On Prime, it was $450. That's not a 10% savings. That's not, oh, 10% on sale. No, that's a huge savings. And that's across the board with lots of robots. But the Ecovacs X9 Pro Omni was on sale. I bought it, and it's going back because it's not a good cleaning robot. So it doesn't matter what solution I put in here. None of these solutions are going to improve your robot. You have to start with a good robot vacuum cleaner. And I have a huge video on spinning mop pads versus mop rollers. Big debate right now going on. The results were pretty shocking. I'm picking spinning mop pads. Again, it comes back to the robot. So I would love to show you each and all one of these. I am talking about it from my head. The Bonos did really good. I feel like, now I didn't go over price. The prices are all over the place. I bought all of these off Amazon. I might have got a couple from Walmart, but most all of them are from Amazon. This does seem like a pretty big quantity that's going to last you a while. You know, the Bissell smelled, probably had the second best aroma. Shark, Bissell, Fabuloso smells good, but then it doesn't last or something. I'm not sure. But, and again, don't forget about if you're scared to death of ruining your robot, use the one from the manufacturer. Again, they're not going to say anything about it if you send it in for warranty. Now, again, let's talk about this. If I'm leaving on 2 months, if I'm not going to use my robot for a couple months, clean your clean water tank out. Clean it out. Only put fresh water in there. Run in the app, you can tell to do a clean my robot, clean my robot. Do a couple of those. Get fresh water running through the robot, and then you can turn your robot. Then you can turn your robot off and empty your clean water tank and your dirty water tank. Now, that some apps, not all of them, I can't keep track of all of them, but some robots in the app, it's kind of hidden in the settings. You can tell the robot to empty its internal water tank. So what I would do is, if I knew I was going to be away for a couple weeks, I would do my fresh water. I call it freshwater rinsing. This is the throwback to my Keurig days, reviewing coffee makers. Freshwater rinse. Do a freshwater rinse on the vacuums, and then empty. It'll suck the water out of this internal water tank. As far as I know, there's no way of getting to that tank. Now, I think in the future, I am going to start opening some of these robots up. It sounds fun, and we've got to have fun. So I'm going to be in the future opening. I want to see what they look like. I'm too curious. So we can suck the water out of the internal water tank. I think that's important. And you'll notice, you'll also get indicators. So this is the Saros 10R. Again, this has an internal water tank. You'll start to see crust and stuff right here. I started to see that with some of these other ones that I'm not recommending. Again, when you start to see signs of like staining, like, oh, it's leaving a lot behind. You don't want to, this solution that we're using should not be causing us problems, okay? The clear one, these dissolve, the liquid ends up to be clear. Oh, I did like the Hydrovac. Yeah. Yeah, it smells really good. Shark has nailed the scents. So yeah, I'll put links to as much of these as I can in the show description notes. Again, I'm not talking about price, not diving into the scientist. Use at your own caution. I don't want you to break your robot, because packing these things up and sending them in for repair could be a really big pain. They're big, they're bulky, and who knows if they're going to honor the warranty. They might have a way of finding out, oh, you were using this stuff here, and there's all kinds of stains on. Well, you were using something not authorized. You very well could run into that. So if it's not staining your clean water tank, you should be good. Again, the clear ones, again, in my opinion, they dissolved clear, they stayed clear, but keep an eye on the suds, and what's going on with the robot. And start off with a low amount, work your way up. I did test some of these. You can see in my videos, I'm like, let's just see what's going to, I have some older robots that I was doing test to failure. So I'm like, well, we might as well test solution to failure. I couldn't get a robot to fail. Now, I used some Roborocks. There was a Eureka. I had a Eureka fail, but that was something else unrelated to the solution. I had some Roombas fail, but that wasn't because of solution. So again, everybody, check out my videos. I really do appreciate everybody's support. Now, I've got the tip that I'm going to show you. Dirty water tanks. And this is all of this channel would not be possible without you. I consider this our channel. I would never have done this video. I had so many comments, what cleans, and I blew them off at first. I'm like, well, just use this. Like, just use this. Like, use the Eufy if you got a Eufy. But then I realized, wait a minute, I want something to smell a little nicer, and I want something that works maybe a little bit better. Let's try this. So that was only because of the comments from you. So I really do appreciate everybody's comments. And I learned so much from you. The clean water or the dirty water tank that I'm about to show you are tricks and hacks that people have taught me. I didn't know about them. I was actually clueless. And when I just kept dealing with this dirty water tank that stinks. So let's show you the hacks. Okay, here we have a dirty water tank, MOVA P10 Pro. Let's take it over and let's empty it out. This is my cleaning station. Now, it's dirty. It just did a big job. Yours may not be that dirty, but it will start to stink. Now, these things get odor in them. And believe me, they get, so you're gonna always wanna rinse it out. And then, oh, I should have led with the first hack. This is the world famous Just a Dad's cleaning brush, approved cleaning brush at Walmart. It comes with, it comes in a pack. Like, I'll put a link to it. I think they sell out of it every time I mention it, but it's like $5. You wouldn't believe, but I've tried so many cleaning, I've tried probably 20 brushes, water bottle brushes, and this one is the absolute best. So, Just a Dad world famous cleaning brush for your dirty water tank. Now I've kind of switched gears, and I used to use Dawn, you know, because it's in the kitchen or something, but I've kind of switched to, since it stinks, I kind of switched to this Easy Clean, which is like for bathrooms, you know, and then you fill it up, you know, you gotta scrub because you'll get scum and stuff on there, okay? And then rinse it. That's gonna eliminate the odor. Now, odor will creep into the plastic. If you don't clean that for 3 or 4 weeks, odor will creep into there. Now, the first hack was Listerine mouthwash. This is, I got 2 kinds, but you would just spray every time you emptied the dirty water tank and before you put it in your robot, you would just spray some Listerine, and then as the filled up with dirty water, the Listerine would kill the bacteria. And it did work. But Listerine's actually expensive, a little expensive. This, somebody told me about, is super cheap. I don't know the cost, but this is like $6 for all of 126 tablets. Take a tablet and just do what I do, rinse it out, and you don't have to clean it every time if you're using these hacks. You will have to wash it once in a while, but when it's all empty, just throw that in there, and then as water goes in there from the cleaning process, it dissolves. These actually work very well. And now somebody just told me another one, I haven't tried it yet, but denture cleaners, if you want to clean your dirty water tank, throw one of those in and it fizzes up and cleans everywhere. So there's my clean, this goes for Roborock, Ecovacs. Dirty water tanks will stink like crazy. Trust me. Okay, I've got one more hack for dirty water tanks. Now, I'm in the preliminary stages of this, but it is a game changer. These things, I'm not sure what they're called. They're called like ionizing beads. Right now, Dreame, which is Dreame and MOVA, kind of share some stuff. So Dreame and MOVA and Roborock make these, I don't know what they are. They got tablets in them. They're this little thing. Your tank has to be made to accept it. Again, I'm in the early stages, but this is a Dreame L40 MOVA P10 Pro. Has these little hooks down at the bottom, which this is for the Dreame and the MOVA. Now, I had to order this off Amazon, and it took a couple weeks to get here, so that tells me it came from overseas probably. I mean, I don't know. It's not readily available. Same with the Roborock. The Roborock one is a little different. but it's got these same, they call them like ionizing beads. It works. I did not expect it to work. I'm like, how can these be? This is with not using any hacks, not using Effordent tablets, not using Listerine. So you take, and Roborock's got the same, not the same brackets, but they got brackets in the bottom that you're gonna snap this in. So let's take this, because I think they'll float. Yeah. So see, I've got that snapped into the bottom there. Now, as the dirty water comes in, it's gonna somehow get ionized or something. I don't know how long it lasts. They're kind of expensive. I think, if I remember right, $12 to $24 somewhere there. There's a white one, there's a brown, there's a black, there's a gray one here. It's very hit or miss on who's selling them. Like, I think somebody commented that, oh, Dreame's not allowed to sell it in the United States. Maybe these are, I don't know. I don't know anything about them, but I know they work. So I got it. I'm going to start using them because now all I do is I empty it out, rinse it out, and I don't have to clean it out. Now, I will have to clean it out sometimes, but if you're emptying this every week or once every week and a half or so, this can be kind of a pain to keep putting that tablet in or the Listerine. I don't know how long it's going to last, but it definitely works. So look for that. I've given you several hacks with dirty water tanks, how to prevent odor. Again, if you're looking for a robot, Just a Dad approved, all one word.com. And I do YouTube videos for the Prime days, for the big sale days. So this last Prime event, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, it was in July 8th through the 11th, I think. What I did is the 1 or 2 days leading up to the event, I went over like the best robots that I think are going to be on sale. And there was the pre-sale. There were some really good robots on sale before Prime days. Now, when Prime days happened, I got up super early. I wrote down everything that was on sale. I went and grabbed them, and I stood right here, and I explained to people, this is a great price. This is a great robot at a great price. Buy it. So whenever those big events come around, check my videos. You'll be able to see when, I don't know when the next Prime days is going to be. I think it's in October. Then we have Cyber Monday, Black Friday. Then there's some in January, February. And then again, the whole process starts all over again. That's the time to buy robot vacuum cleaners. That's when the bulk of them are on sale. Now, they'll put these on sale at random times. So follow me on Instagram, on TikTok. I try to get the information out as quickly as, when I see a robot on a lightning deal, I'm like, this is a buy. It's $200 off, and that's the lowest price I've seen. So follow me, look for more videos. Again, really appreciate everybody's support. This is what I do for a living. I review robot vacuum cleaners right now. I'm hyper focused on them. Nothing in your home other than your smartphone, nothing in your home is changing as quickly as robot vacuum cleaners. These robots were not available last year, and the technology that they're using was not available last year. I don't know what next year brings, because these manufacturers, some of them you may never have heard of. We've all heard of iRobot, Roomba. They do sell robots. They're behind the times. I have videos on them. There's a hassle factor that I just don't like. We have better robots. It's like, why tell you to buy an iRobot when these are better? They're brands you haven't heard of, but they are starting to become very well-established brands. Roborock is the #1 selling in the world. MOVA and Dreame are not too far behind. Ecovacs isn't too far behind. So again, as soon as these robots are released, I buy them with my own money. That way I can give you my honest opinion. And if it's junk, I say it's junk. I don't know how else to say that. And I'm sure some manufacturers don't like that. But if I unbox it like it's a hassle, it's bad, well, I may have had a bad unit, but if I do, then I get a new one. But I'll send it back and get a new one. But if it's bad, I'm like, I want my money back, because I want to be like you as the consumer. I spent $600 on this robot. Okay, am I getting $600 worth out of it, or is it a hassle factor and I want my money back? That's exactly how I treat these robots. I want to get you the best robot for your money, and I can only do that by buying these robots and giving you my honest opinion. If they send me a robot, it does feel like I should say something nice. I mean, I try not to. I've done a few of those in the past, very few. 98% of my videos are I buy them with my own money, and I give you my honest opinion. Sometimes we have to try things just to see how it goes, and it didn't go well. So anyway, really do have a lot of fun here. be cautious. Start out again. Shark, I don't think you can go wrong. Bissell, the Bona. The major floor cleaners, use caution. Mr. Clean, I did work relatively well. This one was an odd duck that I really didn't know anything about, but it did work good and it smells good. The pink stuff probably was the biggest disappointment. Lysol smells is the most strongest cleaning smell. It's not the best smelling. And again, these were really highly recommended, or they sell a lot. That doesn't mean they're good, but yeah, the Zep I think is just way too aggressive. So Pine Sol, yeah, didn't have any problems with it. I'm looking at all these out. They're good to go. I'll try to put a link to as many as I can. I'll put a link to the world famous Just a Dad cleaning brush from Walmart for $5. Get it before they sell out. Every time I go to Walmart, they're sold out because I try to buy as many as I can. I'm always needing more in every little place. So anyway, we had a lot of fun today. This video, again, is because of you. Let me know in the description if there's other videos you'd like to see. Let me know the format. What did you think of this format? Again, caution, caution, caution. These are expensive. I'm not a scientist. The manufacturers are probably like, what's he doing? Why is he telling them to put this in there? So please use caution. But I have used some cleaners. I have not run into any problems. And mainly with the robots that I approve of on my website, justadadapproved.com. So again, if you could, please like and subscribe. Check out my website, justadadapproved.com. And thanks.